Congress starts a series of hearings today with Facebook, Twitter, and Google on how to handle online content posted by extremists. At the same time, European leaders are pressuring the internet giants to do a better job of controlling dangerous and questionable material.
We have team coverage on the story from Los Angeles and London, beginning with Terry Okita in the UK.
Extremist material attracts more internet clicks in Britain than any other European country. The UK has the 5th largest audience in the world for jihadist propaganda, behind only Turkey, the US, Saudi Arabia, and Iraq.
People are accessing it online and very quickly often moving to violence.
Terrorism expert Martin Frampton says extremists are winning what he calls the new net war. His research shows ISIS produces about 100 pieces of new content weekly, including graphic execution videos and bomb-making instructions.
If they can have this content available even for kind of 24 hours, in a sense the damage is done.
At the UN last month, British Prime Minister Theresa May challenged social media companies to take down terrorist material within 2 hours.
This is a major step in reclaiming the internet from those who would use it to do us harm.
Germany has already flagged websites that allow the posting of hate speech, passing a law with fines of nearly $60 million if they don't remove the content within 24 hours.
The European Union has also taken action in recent years, pressuring Google into removing search results that contain objectionable or false information. I'm Terry Okita in London.
I'm Chris Martinez in Los Angeles. American tech companies have not faced the same pressure here at home as they do in Europe.
The U.S. has just not been a leader in regulatory control of these media.
But UCLA information studies professor Sarah Roberts says there is new scrutiny.
This is a really critical moment.
Congress is holding hearings on social media content after Facebook admitted it found thousands of divisive ads from Russian trolls with the goal of spreading disinformation during the election.
I don't want anyone to use our tools to undermine democracy. That's not what we stand for.
Earlier this year, Facebook joined Microsoft, Twitter, and YouTube to create the Global Internet Forum to combat terrorism. The companies are employing thousands of workers and using artificial intelligence to remove and stop extremist content.
It's great that companies are stepping up to the plate and trying to problem solve. But again, it's a question of, do we let the fox guard the hen house?
Washington lawmakers will be considering that question as they decide if the U.S. should be following Europe's lead of applying legislative pressure on America's tech giants. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
You know, we're going to see a lot of tough questions for all these tech companies. Obviously, there are a lot of concerns about, sort of the demonstrated effort by Russian officials, whether it be the government or associates, to try to influence U.S. voters with misinformation on a range of these platforms. And it's also, all of this is coming sort of, if you look back sort of, at a 30,000 foot level, tech is under wide-ranging scrutiny, both here in the Russian investigation, but also when it comes to things like antitrust and the roles of sort of automation in the workforce, all of those things where tech is now in the hot seat in Washington in a way that it really hasn't been, sort of gone from sort of the darling of Washington sort of 5 or 6 years ago to now an object of real scrutiny.
So let's talk a little bit about the content that these Russian trolls were posting. I think a lot of people, when they heard about the story, figured that it would be something that would be easily identified on Facebook. They would know right away that this was an attempt to influence them one way or the other, but not necessarily.
No, I mean, that's sort of the thing we all know from all of our Facebook accounts is that, you follow your friends and, things, the way these ads were often targeted was to sort of filter into people's sort of existing networks and social circles, sort of looked like content they were seeing from other people, but they were by and large broadly divisive. They were exaggerated or just complete fabrications of fake news or just or fake rallies trying to drum up negative responses, not necessarily to support or oppose one candidate, but just to try to sow chaos in the system.
So chaos by what? Like, what sort of topics did they focus on?
Things like Black Lives Matter, protests, immigration, hot-button political topics that we all sort of debated and discussed in 2016. But really, they were sort of taking it, sort of amping it up to the extreme, and that was an effort to sort of to sow division and discord within the American populace.
So, Zeke, how are these social media tech companies changing their posting tactics and security measures to make sure this doesn't continue?
We're seeing some of these companies take it upon themselves to try to talk about how they're going to be more proactive and try to make sure that if there's a political or an issue ad, that there's going to be a human monitor, somebody who has to sort of check to make sure that that is an actual legitimate posting, not from an overseas actor trying to influence the election. And that's also what Congress is discussing, whether or not there needs to be a sort of mandated of that sort of level of scrutiny. But also, this isn't like broadcast television where you needed to have a disclaimer at the bottom of the ad and somebody saying, paid for by so-and-so. That's one of the things that these tech companies are starting to talk about, doing that on their own. And lawmakers on Capitol Hill might force them to do it, even if they're already moving that direction.
Yeah, Senators Klobuchar and Warner want that to happen. They want a bill. They were sort of pushing a bill that would force the companies to identify who paid for these political ads. But here's the thing. I mean, even if you're able to identify, say, a group that paid for the ad, that doesn't really tell you much about who's really behind it. I know in this case, I heard at least one lawmaker say that some of these ads were paid for in rubles. So that would be pretty telling. But it wouldn't take much to just change that up a little and pay for them in American dollars and put a nice, sort of friendly title on the name of your group.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, this wouldn't stop all of those instances, but like the same way we see with television ads and other things, I mean, it creates a paper trail, a way to go back, whether it be reporters or the average citizen. When they see an ad, they're like, that seems a little weird. Paid for by whatever group, they can Google the group and come up and see if they're verified or not, and tip off a reporter, and they can go digging in to what's the source of that money. It doesn't eliminate all the problems. This isn't a perfect system; it never will be. But this would create certainly what lawmakers on Capitol Hill are discussing, what some of these tech companies are starting to do proactively, is this would create a bit of a paper trail, at least, to allow the consumers of that information to verify the authenticity or not of what's being presented to them.
And you're right. At least they've acknowledged finally that there is a problem. Zeke Miller, as always, my friend, thank you very much.
Thank you.